Hello, YouTubers, friends, compatriots, bootlickers, shields, desolators, peasants, vassals, minions, meat sacks. I'm Useful Idiot. Welcome. Let's go to the good old USA and talk about this meeting. Donald Trump has met the big man himself, Henry Kissinger, this week. So this goes in line with the fact that there's a certain amount of resolution in the Republican Party that Trump is the leader, and he has enough of a charisma and enough of a following that now, of course, he's a winner. They're going to try and line up, and more importantly, they're going to try and co-opt it. And we're seeing a lot of moves in that direction. Of course, we have Sheldon Adelson getting on board, financing the Trump campaign. We have a lot of status quo Republicans are now lining up behind Trump and calling for party unity. And now we see Trump meeting with the architect of U.S. 20th century foreign policy, Henry Kissinger. And we know Kissinger is generally supportive of Hillary Clinton, but this has some significance, and we'll probably never really know what the significance is until we see some obvious examples of what Trump's foreign policy would be. But obviously there's a lot of points of contention, and Kissinger has brought this up before, that he has a lot of problems with a lot of Trump's foreign policy ideas. But maybe this is an effort to smooth out those differences and perhaps articulate things a little clearer. And I understand reading certain articles that Trump and Kissinger have actually been having telephone conversations for weeks. And so I'm not surprised in a way. Donald Trump needs to get a crash course in foreign policy, and who better to get it from than Trump. And it's not necessarily going to mean that Trump's going to be co-opted by the status quo or neocon policies that Kissinger exemplifies. But it means that Trump may be practicing some realism and some realpolitik now that he has to face the fact that he may be directing foreign policy in the United States. And so he has what they're calling a realist view. And he's also been meeting with James Baker, who of course was a foreign policy bigwig during the Bush administration. So interesting to watch. I hope more details come out on it. I want to see what it implies, and if Trump gets more and more involved with this crowd, it'll certainly be interesting. We know where Bernie Sanders' support falls on this issue, because there was a notable exchange between Hillary Clinton and Bernie Sanders about Henry Kissinger, and of course Hillary Clinton considers him a good friend and a foreign policy expert, whereas Bernie Sanders is very proud of the fact that he has no association whatsoever with the Kissinger crowd. But one of the things that came up in researching this a little bit, of course, is looking back at the fact that Henry Kissinger met with Sarah Palin in 2008 when she became the vice presidential candidate. And boy, I tell you, I would have loved to be a fly in that room. I'm sure Henry Kissinger was scratching his head when faced with the likes of Sarah Palin. A legendary meeting, to be sure, a meeting of the mind. And so there we have it. Trump meets with Kissinger. It looks like he's either preparing to be co-opted, or he's still doing the dance and pandering at least as much as he has to endear himself with the Republican status quo and make this happen. So there you have it. I'm Useful Idiot. Don't you be one too.